Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here, got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which of course means it's time for yet another one of our weekly viewer specials. If you are new to the channel or to this series, then every single Monday here on the channel, we showcase games from you all, the viewers. It's a good chance to show off some strategies I might not normally have time to get to, and cheer each other on as we show off our cool games and decks. So if you're interested in submitting for the viewer special, you're going to want to head down to the description below. There you're going to find an invite link to our Discord server, the Hexlexplex. Once over there, head over to the Master Duel section. There is a channel called Viewer Special Submissions where you can drop your 9-digit player ID and I can see your publicly saved replays. If you've got one in particular you really want me to see, make sure to leave your opponent's name or like a screenshot, or just something that I know that's the game you want me to see. But let's go ahead and get right on into your duels. Alright, our first game comes to us from Logan, aka Deadliest Swing, over on the Discord server. So we're actually going to be taking a look at this first game here, where we are going to be on branded Draco. Looks like we're a little bit more of a heavy leaning branded package. Also, I see the double evolution pill with the Overtex Pilatus here. Just some very interesting tech alongside the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno as well. Cool stuff. And then our opponent is also going to be on a very interesting looking strategy here. We got Danger Dark World action going on, but I see a Prohibition here as well as some Fiendsmith action. So I'll be interested to see exactly what our opponent's board. There's also Allied Code Talker in here. I'll be very interested to see what our opponent's board actually ends up looking like. But let's go ahead and dive right on into this duel. With two very unique lists, I had to take a look at this one here. Okay, I think we're going first, right? Yeah, we're going first. And our hand looks pretty solid. We got both the Branded and the Draco setups here. We're going to lead with the Phimena, fusing the Quem and Fruxel in our hand. It's going to fuse the Draco Arthelion. So of course allow us to wheel back the Phimena and Quem, and then Fruxel gets to set a card from our deck, which will be the Ketu Draco Tail. Arthelion's going to add back the Phimena and the Quem there. Gonna flip up Ketu, let us add the Molulu, which we are then going to normal summon, activate Molulu, fuse itself with the Quem that is in our hand. And that's gonna let us make the Golemel. Now Molulu effect gets to activate, we're gonna set the Flame, and now we can go for the Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion will send off Albaz and Bastille Lubellion, letting us go for Albion the Branded Dragon. Albion effect gets to activate here. We're going to make another fusion summon. We're fusing Albaz with Molulu in our graveyard this time to summon Lubellion the Searing Dragon. Now Lubellion gets to activate, discarding that Phimena in order to fuse yet again. Looks like this one's going to be Mirror Jade. Yep, there's Mirror Jade. Now we'll tribute off Albion the Searing for Bastille Lubellion. This will let us activate Bastille Lubellion's effect to set up the loss, set the banishment, end of phase Albion, sets Branded Retribution, and we're going to pass right over to our opponent. So we have a lot of stuff going for us here. We're about to fusion summon right off the bat. We have Golemel to pop cards when we activate Flame to negate spells. We have the Retribution counter trap negate setup, and we have the Mirror Jade banish as well. So here's Branded Banishment, summoning back the Albion and fusing it with the Lubellion in order to summon the Light and Darkness Dragon. This will let us negate our opponent's cards, and then we can also add the Mercurier for an additional negate as well. Unfortunately, because our opponent is on Danger Dark World, they're going to get to use up our Light and Darkness Dragon's negates very, very easily because they can simply reveal the same Danger monster over and over again. Now remember, the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord does not get to choose when it negates. It is a mandatory effect. So yeah, we're not really going to get much of a say here. We're just going to have to watch as our Light and Darkness Dragon Lord loses all of its negates to this Danger Chupacabra. Really unfortunate matchup for this particular scenario. Awful. Alright, so there's that. The Rainbow gets to activate here. It seems our Light and Darkness Dragon Lord is still trying to trigger. Is it because it has 400 attack points left? I would think that because it can't lose 1,000 attack and defense, it wouldn't even get the chance to activate, but I guess it is still activating. It's just not able to resolve because it's not losing 1,000 attack and defense. Okay, so they threw out the Dark World Ascension, but then threw out the Grapha. Grapha on the back row to destroy it. And then here's the fusion spell. I might throw this in fast forward just because of the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord. Alright, Grapha coming down. Rainbow gets to activate here. That's going to add the... Oh, which one is that? I've actually used that one before. That was the Lucent, that's right. And then Danger Nessie gets to discard itself. Letting them add the Danger Mothman. Mothman F gets to activate here. That'll end up discarding the Snow. Wow, that's really good for them. Snow is an insane card. Now they can get the Jinta. Not using it to find the gates right away. They're going to draw and then discard first. Okay, so we're using the Mirror Jade here. They're going to go for the Grapha, and we're going to negate with the Mercurier. So we don't have to worry about their Grapha anymore. The Celery is still going to discard the Lucent from their hand. Wow, and they get some of the DDD as well. Like I said, I'm mostly curious as to what exactly our opponent's end board is going to look like here. Like, what all's going to be on it. Alright, so they've got the gates online now. Gates F, banishing Jinta, discarding Snow. They get the draw, they get the search, they get the summon. Searching the archives. Summoning back the Rainbow. Okay, so wait, what was that effect they activated from the DDD here? Should be one monster, apply one of these effects till the end of the turn. This card can attack directly. Your opponent cannot activate the cards or effects of spell and trap cards. Got it, okay. Or cards rather in the spell and trap zone. And I think they used that earlier, right? Did they not use the, yeah, your opponent cannot activate cards in their hand or graveyard. Alright, here's the Fiendsmith pivot as they link into the moon. And they're actually going to go into the underworld. Wow, they're not even pivoting into Fiendsmith. They're linking away our Mirror Jade before going for the card destruction here. Card destruction, of course, going to trigger all of their Dark World effects. Celery summoned to our field, meaning that whatever Dark World monster is summoned is going to be treated as though it was discarded by the opponent. Although here in the case of the Silva, it's not going to matter too much. Akashic Magician. Return all cards this card points to. So they're putting back their own Underworld Goddess. I wonder if they're going to summon it again? What else does this do? Declare a card name, excavate equals the link rating co-links, and if you excavated copies, add them to your hand. So I guess once our deck gets low enough, we could excavate any desired card. It might be what they're going for here. There's the moon again. This time they're actually pivoting into Fiendsmith. Okay, there's Lacrima. And Danger Mothman, sure. Sending off the Nessie. Here's, yep, they're summoning Underworld Goddess again. Oh my god, I almost wish there was another level of fast forward I could put it in. At this rate, just for how many effects our opponent's resolving. Of course, when it comes to Danger Dark World, this is definitely the kind of thing you would expect to see. Yeah, it looks like our opponent's not even going for any like specific OTK or win con aside from just infinite bodies. I wondered if that was going to be the case or if there was going to be some like unique combo I didn't see in the list, but the use of the DDD to stop any hand traps or back rows from being used was a really cool touch that I haven't seen in the Danger Dark World list before, so that's some pretty good stuff. Also, I appreciate people who are willing to show off games where they lose, even their opponents, or rather because their opponent is doing cool stuff. So thank you for that, Logan. Super appreciate the submission there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. All right, this one comes to us from Sebas Toran. who has a couple of games actually with a list that I'm pretty interested to see. I think the particular game we're looking for, is it this one? No, I was gonna look at the Ryzeal game, but I don't know if that's actually on here, because none of these really look like Ryzeal. So we'll do this going second Noveles game instead. So we're gonna be on Punk Mitsurugi, which with all of the new accessories coming out, I've been thinking about getting back into Punk lately. So this seems like a cool list to try to do it with, potentially. Looks like we're playing the Parallel Teleport as well. Put a Psychic Monster, Special Summon, 1 level 7 or lower Psychic Monster for your extra deck. Interesting. Or deck or extra deck. Okay, I was like, what? Okay, gotcha. Okay, got it. So that's basically just an extra copy of E-Tally. I just wanted to read it to make sure I knew what it did there, but... yeah, Punk Mitsu. I mean, it makes sense, right? Punk really likes to have level 8 non-tuner bodies, which all of the Mitsurugi ritual monsters are. And also with Mitsurugi not really having any extra deck or even normal summon requirements, it becomes very easy to slide them into the same deck as something like Punk here. So, see, looks like our opponent's going to be starting off here. They're going to be on Noveles. Unfortunately, I'm really not very familiar with this deck at all, so it's kind of hard for me to commentate on exactly what our opponent's doing. Beyond the... you know, I gotta level with you, I'm not even fully sure what the standard turn 1 end board for this deck looks like. But it definitely is going to be improved by the relatively recent support that came out. Both this continuous spell as well as the Chef that was added to their hand, I noticed. The Chef, yeah, that one, Chef de Noveles, which is a light fiend, always worth noting. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they found any Noveles cards off that Excavate. Just a bunch of off-engine there. I saw the Engraver, yeah, it makes sense, of course, with the Chef being a light fiend, that you would incorporate a Fiendsmith engine into Noveles now. I imagine pretty much every single time, right? There's the Counter Trap Omni Negate, Chef de Noveles bumping up the level of the level 1 ritual monster. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the names here. Summoning out the level 3. And then the other pen scale gets to go to our... well, to their pen scale. Oh, and that one's a Dark Fairy. That's cute. Dark Fairy and a Light Fiend. Alright, we're ritual climbing here, getting up to our level 6. Which I know that's the one that summons the Hungry Burger, right? Oh yeah, that's right, they have their own, like, in-archetype Hungry Burger now. That was the other, one of the other new support cards they got. So we can bet that face down is going to be the Omni Negate. Let's see what we end up doing here. We're going to lead with normal summon Aramasa. It looks like we're actually chaining the E-Telly here. Our opponent's going to respond with the Retaliating Sea, as well as a Maxi. Now the Maxi we can at least call by, but the Retaliating Sea might end up being a little bit of an issue, because both... well, Mitsu's actually... it's weird. Like, Mitsu cares about its stuff being in the graveyard, but, like... it can actually still play under Retaliating Sea pretty well. Punk also cares about its stuff being in the graveyard, but can also probably still make at least some amount of plays here. I think we're going to use the Wagon to go for the Jam Extreme Session. Their field spell's out of the way, so that's good. And I remember the Black Rose. Yep, that was in our extra deck. Looks like we're making use of that here in order to get rid of this Retaliating Sea as well as the rest of our opponent's board state. So basically now we just have to worry about hand traps. We are under Maxi, but we can still go for the full Mitsu setup here. So we can get a Murakumo online. Although, to be fair, they have plenty of cards to discard here as well. Looks like we're going to use the field spell to go for the Zeami normal summon next. Adding the Rising Scale, getting the draw as well. Special summoning the Foxy Tune from hand. Now we're going to sink for 11. That's going to be the Pep. Alright, so let's see. We're at 2,900 less life points. Wow, another Retaliating Sea. Plus 3,500 would be 6,400. So yeah, if we had gone to battle phase, would have been lethal there. Yeah, here's the Murakumo. We can just board wipe away this Retaliating Sea. And at this point, the Nibiru becomes a pretty tough sell for our opponent, right? Because the Pep is unaffected by it, and the Murakumo will just come right back. In fact, yeah, we can just go to battle here. So that was some pretty good stuff. Going second, using the Black Rose to board wipe, and then setting ourselves up for a situation where Nib wouldn't even stop us from lethaling down our opponent. That was some pretty good stuff. Thank you very much for that replay. We have time for one more. Let's finish off with that one. Okay, our last game comes to us from Jurgen Lele. Hopefully I didn't butcher the pronunciation of your name. Apologies if I did. Let's see here. It looks like we have... Yeah, it's going to be this one right here. A going second duel, where we are going to be on White Forest Azamina. Like we got the toy package in there as well. And our opponent is going to be on Labyrinth. Looks like a paleo package in their build. So let's see how this one ends up playing out here. We are going to be going second here, so a lot of uphill battles that we've had to face in this week's viewer special. Alright, so yeah, we're going second. As you can see, not an ideal going second hand. They're going to set 3 and then pass right back over to us, finding the Retaliating Sea, which I don't think will be of much use here. And in fact, we're just going to send it right away for the Diabell Star. They're going to respond with to the Diabell Star with Max C here. Diabell Star F going to set Sinful Spoils of Slumber. Normal summon Sylvie, they're going to flip up Welcome Lab in response to that. Summoning out Ariana in defense mode, we get to add Tails. They're going to go Ariana effect here. Going to let them add the Lady Lab. So we can bet one of their other back rows is probably going to be live. They're just going to try to summon that Lady Lab here shortly. We're going to go for the LZ, sending away the Toy Soldier. I actually like playing into Maxi in a situation like this a lot for a couple of reasons. One, playing into Maxi against Lab is not quite as scary as some other decks because they're not really ever going to be on Nib. And on top of that, they're going to be on so many fewer hand traps in general. The scariest things they'll find are probably going to be stuff like Lady Lab or the Coup Clock in combination with Furniture, right? Alright, here's something you never want to see is the D barrier, especially as a synchro-focused deck. And of course, they also get to drop the Lady Lab on board as well. So no more Synchro Summoning, but of course, White Forest Azamina does more than just Synchro Summon. It can also Fusion Summon as well, and it usually plays a couple of Link monsters, but here we can use the LZ Azamina effect. Our opponent's going to chain Big Welcome, and that'll let them activate the Lady Lab effect. So yeah, this is about the scariest thing that Lab can do while you're under Max C, right? Is they can set up more trap cards for their deck and then get exactly the Coup Clock, like I was just mentioning. So we're going to Fusion Summon into the Murashilago. Got that Royal Field Spell too, very nice. Like they're going to fire off the Lovely as well as the Coup Clock here, and we know they just set the Dimensional Cannon. Got Stovey pitching the rollback as well. Yeah, again, this is like kind of worst case scenario for Lab resolving Max C. But at the same time, this is still, I mean, it's situationally dependent, right? Sometimes you'd rather face this than like a Nibiru, sometimes you'd rather face the Nibiru. Again, it just kind of depends on what deck you're on and what the board state is like. Alright, here's the Deception. We're going to go Deception effect, tribute off the Toy Soldier for Hallowed Azamina. We're then going to activate our Hallowed Azamina, revealing the Saint Azamina, sending away our Sinful Spoils Morian in order to summon her. Now we can go Saint Azamina effect. It's going to let us pull out the Moa Regina from our extra deck. Hallowed Azamina effect gets to activate, and then we're going to go Chainlink 2 Moa Regina, and looks like we're targeting the face down cards here. And they did not use the Coup Clock. Oh, because it's on field. You have to discard this, right? Yep, you have to discard it. You can't send it away from the field like the furniture. Or Stovish. One of them you can send away from the field, right? I think, like, one of them you can, the other you can't. But here's Azamina, like regular Azamina. Now we're going to use Wanted to go for the Diabell Star Vengeance. Yeah, it's really easy to think like, oh, D-Barrier calls Synchro against White Forest, what can they do? Well, there's quite a bit they can do, actually. In this scenario, we can very easily run over our opponent's 2 remaining monsters and then swing in for lethal with our remaining Azamina monsters. Or monster, in this case. Excellent stuff. Excellent game there. Thank you very much to you, Jurgen Lele. Again, I'm so sorry if I butchered that pronunciation, as well as everybody else who submitted for this week. Love doing the viewer special, and I love that you're all so eager to submit every week. Couldn't do it without you, so thank you very, very much. But that'll do it for now. I'm about to sign out, but before I do, let's head on to our outro and thank our YouTube members and Patreon subscribers. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.